Welcome everybody to the Umbraco Winter Keynote. Today we are setting the scene for 2024 and we'll do that by looking back a bit at 2023 and to then see what we can look forward to in 2024. I'll start with introducing you to our panel today. We'll go to Kim first, who is in our Charlotte office in the US. Hello, Kim.
Hello.
And then we have here our COO, Javier Miranda, our Director of Developer Relations, Emma Burstow, and our CTO, Filip Bech-Larsen. Thank you all for joining. First of all, we've had more than double the sign-ups than last year. We don't quite know what we did different than last year. We figured out that Javier is the one that is new this year, so well done. And I would like to encourage you to also say hi from where are you streaming from today. So go ahead to the chat next to the live stream and let us know where are you joining us from today. In the next hour, we'll split the program into two parts. Part one will be where we hear from each of our panelist speakers on topics like Umbraco's predictions for 2024, the Umbraco commercial journey, the Umbraco community, and what we can look forward to in product roadmap. And then in part two, we will be taking your questions. So go ahead and start thinking about what you would like to ask us today in the next half hour, and then we will cover some of these questions in the Q&A. Without further ado, Casper, are we all ready for Kim? Kim, here you go.
Looking at 2023, 1 year ago when we met last time around New Year's, I was a bit uncertain how things would go in 2023 due to the turmoil we see in the world and how that would affect us as a company and our customers. The turmoil is still there and have perhaps increased during the year, but we have not seen an economic standstill in our industry and for our partners. Overall, Umbraco have had 40% growth on the top line last year, and as per usual, we have invested everything back into product, services, marketing, and our organization. The other panelists will dive a bit into more details around 2023, so I will not do anything more with that regard. Next slide, sustainability. And here are we at our predictions. Regulators and customer needs it and wants it. We and our partners need to be able to answer sustainability questions. Since our first edition in 2023 of our annual impact report, including describing how we did offsetting all our emissions from the previous year, we have continued to work on reducing and documenting our climate impact. Also this year, we will launch our impact report and document this, what we are doing towards our journey, carbon neutrality. And then I believe you should go one slide back. Yeah, the AI frenzy is still over us. It started roughly a year ago when the AI hit us with ChatGPT. Suddenly, all machine learning companies became overnight artificial intelligence companies, and we would all die if we didn't jump on the AI train immediately. The frenzy is still here, but it seems that a more common sense approach has surfaced, and AI should not be implemented everywhere in a product or in an organization. Of course, we, as we always are doing, will explore new technologies and apply it where it makes sense. And I can promise that we will use intelligence when we develop our products and services. Next slide. And privacy and security continues to play a crucial role. Ensuring that customer data is secure and kept private is still key for any digital business. On top of that comes regulations, not necessarily global regulations, hence adding hurdles for global companies working across the globe. We know that security and privacy is key for our customers, for our partners, for our product, and it will continue to play an important part of the work we do. Next slide, please. Return on investment is key. And yes, we still see turmoil in the world. Wars and unrest affects supply chain, add uncertainties to the macroeconomy, on top of high interest rates and high inflation in select countries. This is somewhat countered by the digitalization process we have seen the many last years, and which was reinforced during the pandemic, ensuring that digital business, digital transformation, and we still have customers to work for. Return on investment is, as always, important, but as we have seen over the last year, the planning horizon becomes shortened, and therefore return and documented return on investment is key and becomes more important than ever. And I'm not just saying that because Umbraco, according to D2, has the best return on investment on that. Last slide. Customers. Keeping customers happy is not something new. We should always keep our customers happy. However, in a situation where we are right now, I believe it is the year to invest in customer relation, customer retention, making sure that customers stay longer and buy more from us. Here at Umbraco, we have key projects for 2024, investing in our customer success teams and improving the customer journey, ensuring that we reduce friction and constantly create value for our customers. And then back to you, Steph.
Thank you very much, Kim. We will get back to you with more questions in part 2. But first, let's hear from you, Javier.
Hi. Hello, everybody. Before we put some words on what is the commercial journey for Umbraco in 2024, we must do an exercise of looking back a little bit and reflect on what we did on 2023. And we start 2023 with a promise. We promise ourselves to listen our partners, listen our enterprise clients better, and do everything we can to reinforce the relation of these people with us. Under this promise, we develop a lot of solutions. We bring a new partner program, we bring some new support deals and agreement, we bring new training services and even new products. And as Kim says, for us was something that we consider a great year. We call this like the year that we truly raised the bar, and the results they talk for themselves. The new partner program is being a great success. Currently, the vast majority of our partners, they have been moving from our old setup to our new setup. We are being also quite happy to be able to receive new partners into the partner ecosystem. And in fact, also not bringing the new partners, also bring some old partners that they are being like taking a break from our old partnership model. They decide to come back with us. So we are super happy with us. So on top of that, we are being blessed by having a lot of enterprise clients basically deciding to use Umbraco as the preferred CMS solution using our plateau of products. And on top of that, our cloud offering would take a really big hit during the second part of the year, especially, and we are very, very happy to see that it's one of our preferred hosting solutions in some of our markets. So definitely was a good year and a year that we basically took a lot to improve the bar. So, but what is next? What are we going to do for the time that is coming? So first of all, we decide to be focused. 23 show us the way, and in 24 we are going to basically double down. We decide to be super focused on our main businesses, on our main product, and especially in our main markets. US and UK as the main drivers of business from us, of course, heavily supported by the Nordics, Benelux, and we also see a really good traction around the world in some other areas. So this year we decide to implement a specific plan per area where we are going to be able to execute actions in a different way. So a lot of branding actions, they are planned in all the different regions and a few global ones. Kim was mentioned the impact report that you're going to see probably at some point in Q2. Also collaboration with partners. They are deeper and more frequent than before. I checked today that we have been planning around 40 specific industry events and partners events already this year. We are super happy with that. On top of that, we are doubling down locally to basically enhance our cloud adoption in a better way. We did some tests last year in some markets very successfully. We try to make it available to all of them. And obviously, we are always looking for enterprise clients to try our solution in Umbraco, implementing Umbraco as a CMS, or finding a partner in the Umbraco ecosystem to help us with that. But we cannot win without our partners. So as I mentioned before, we launched this new partner program this year. It's being a success. We are quite happy, and the partners, they are giving us the feedback of how happy they are. So super good, but we are not done. So this year we decide to set up 3 main objectives around this program. Number 1, we're going to complete the transition from the old partnership program to the new one. This is going to happen during the first part of the year, and obviously at the second part of the year, the old partner program will not exist anymore, and everything will be under the new partner program. On top of that, we make the commitment to every product and solution that we will develop during 2044 should be partner program compatible, and our partners should be able to access to the solution through our partner program. And of course, on top of that, we're going to keep listening. We believe that the success of Umbraco partnership depends on the capacity that we have to listen, collaborate, and tailor solutions to help our partners to be more successful around Umbraco. But when we talk about partners, we cannot forget our registered partners. During the last 6-7 years almost, we have been inviting partners from all around the world to know Umbraco, get slightly close to us, and start the journey of being successful with us. We're being so happy with that, but now we're seeing that the silver, gold, platinum model that we have is the real road of success. So during 2024, we took this decision to be proactive, to help our registered partners to become a successful partner in our new partner program. So we decided to take certain actions around that. The first one is starting from today, it will not be possible to become a registered partner in Umbraco. From today, the only way to become a new partner in Umbraco will be silver, gold, or platinum. What is going to happen with the actual registered partners that we have? Well, fear not, during the next 6 months, we're going to invite all of them to basically raise a little bit the commitment that they have with us, invest time and resources together with us to basically jump into this ladder of, silver, gold, or platinum partner. We truly believe that this is the best way to show success. And when we're talking about the next 6 months, we put this deadline on the calendar that from the 1st of July, we're going to retire the old registered partnership label that we have around us, and from them, only silver, platinum, and gold partners will be the partners around our partner network. So, fear not. If you're a registered partner, we're going to contact you during the next weeks. We have a whole setup of actions around you, so you're going to hear from us very, very soon. Okay? On top of that, thank you. On top of that, support and training is always been a very important part for us and remain a super important part of our strategy for this year. So on the training part, we have been listening to you, and we have been hearing that many partners and many end clients, they have some challenges to adapt on the training schedules and how they can commit resources to train the developers into the Umbraco solutions. So this year we are doubling down into a little bit more on-demand solutions with the idea that at the end of the year, everybody from anywhere at any time could become a certified expert in Umbraco. On top of that, support is a super important area to keep developing on it. So we make this commitment of this year become faster, more effective, and especially enhance the consumer experience from all of our partners and clients that they basically need to reach us. And last but not least, let's talk a little bit about our brand. In Umbraco, we believe that our brand is much bigger than us and even much bigger than our product. Our community and the people that we have around the world, they deserve the attention that they should. And this year, we're going to keep doubling down on the things that are important for us. We know that sustainability, diversity, inclusion, being open and transparent, it's something that we are proud, that is a big part of our brand, and we like to keep working on that. So, of course, expect more about that this year. But on top of that, I am very happy to declare today that starting from this week, we kicked off a partnership with Forrester, one of the main analysts in the analyst group in the world, to basically sitting close to us and helping us to sharp a little bit our strategy, strengthen our brand positioning, and being able to present ourselves in the market with competitors and with partners in the best way as possible. So, a lot cooking right now. Please fear not, be close our communication channels. We're gonna inform you punctually during the next weeks about all these changes and the things that they have to come. Okay?
Thank you very much, Javier. And you mentioned already a little bit about community. So Emma, can you enlighten us what you have planned and what you have in store for the community in 2024?
Thank you, Steffi. Absolutely. Hi, my name's Emma Burstow, and I am the Director of Developer Relations here at Umbraco. And I get to speak to you today a little bit about our wonderful community. So this is just a flavour of the community, and throughout my talk you should see lots and lots of smiling, happy faces. We love to call ourselves friendly, and you're going to see a little bit as to why. Before I speak at length about what they do, I should tell you who the community are. With 1,000 people signing in, there's a pretty good chance that some of you will be new to the Umbraco community. The Umbraco community is a collection of people, many of whom are developers, but all sorts of people who work with the product and who are enthusiastic about the product. They might collaborate, they might create code, pull requests, they might attend events, they might actually organize events. Their contributions are many, so rather than tell you who they are, I thought that we would show you. So here's looking back at just the first part of 2023.
Officially time to kick off CodeGarden 2023.
It's just truly something special about this conference.
So as I'm sure you can see there, the Umbraco community are responsible for a great deal of things that happen in and around the ecosystem. We are super excited about the spring that we have ahead too. So in the background, we'll be preparing for Code Garden, our annual developer conference where we meet here in Odense every year. And we also have something exciting to announce about that just a little bit later. We'll also be getting ready to hand out our MVP awards. Our MVP awards are our most valuable people. They are people who have gone above and beyond and made a huge contribution to the Umbraco ecosystem. We have a deadline coming up on the 1st of March. So if you want to nominate somebody for something outstanding they've done, you should let us know. And the applications will be due at the end of March on 29th. And we cannot wait to thank you for everything that you have done for us. Also in the spring, we have a great deal of events, and many of them are community run. So we have festivals in the Umbraco community. They are far cooler than conferences, hence the name, and they are always organized by community groups, a consortium of people who get together, bring people on stage, perhaps contribute code, work together in a hackathon format, all kinds of formats. But it's a great place to meet other Umbracians, other people working with the product, and to share your experience and to learn from each other. We also have a brand new local meetup that's being spread out across the year in a number of different ways. We love meetups in person, but we also want to meet you online. One of the great learnings from the time of the pandemic was that we can feel together even when we're apart. And in the Umbraco ecosystem, we love to get together online, share virtual spaces, and again, learn from each other. So we collaborate across oceans and across time zones, and you're going to see a lot more of us on virtual meetups very soon. The other thing that we love about meetups is just how many of you attend them. So when I was gathering numbers for this keynote, I was delighted to see that we had 111 events last year, and they're all thanks to the Umbraco community. More than 1,700 attendees, that's 1,700 people getting together to learn from each other and to work together outside of working hours because they are so committed to Umbraco. We won't just be in our own back garden, though. We love Umbraco events. Might be biased, they are the most fun, but we're always in other places too. Notably, in the next few weeks, we're going to be really happy to be at FOSDEM and at Open UK, both open source conferences where we work with other open source organizations to look at the future of open source. Now, the first half of the year was super exciting, but let's take a look back at what happened in the second half of 2023. Watch that all day. It's fantastic. It's so good to see what's at the last part of the year. And one of the things that I really love about the Umbraco calendar is the fact that as the year winds down, we tend to wind up. So the last half of 2024 has got some incredible things planned for all of us to enjoy. No 2 years in Umbraco are the same. So if you take a look back at some of the things we enjoyed last year, you can pretty much expect to see some of those too. We will see a bunch of festivals all over the world. That'll be in the Netherlands, the US. We'll see them in the Nordics, in the UK. We will meet at meetups yet again. We'll also see events like Code Cabin, the community team's visit, and Hacktoberfest, where we'll meet together online, mostly async, to create pull requests, to become contributors, many of us for the first time, or many of us for the first time in about a year. It's an incredible opportunity to learn from others again, but also to really get stuck into the Umbraco community. And you won't just see us at those places, you will see us all over the world. So in the last part of the year, we're going to be in a number of different places. I'd love to tell you all of them now, but I am limited for time. So all I can say is that you need to visit our community website, details to follow. Keep an eye on where we're up to, on what we're up to, and where we are, because you really may run into us somewhere local to you. Now, diversity, equity, and inclusion is incredibly important to a thriving community like ours, and it's incredibly important to us here at Umbraco. And one of the things that we've been working on in partnership with the DEI team is to make sure that events are as inclusive as possible and that everybody knows that they're welcome. We want to move forward and we want to grow, but we have to take everybody with us, and that does not have exceptions. Last year, we had incredible success around better gender representation at all of our lineups and our events. But this year, we want to make sure that spaces are really inclusive for those of us who are neurodiverse too. So watch this space, keep an eye. We will be talking plenty about this in the future. And we're always listening. We're not just talking, we're also listening. And in the last part of the year, we're going to be asking you for your input. We're going to be rolling out our biannual, once every 2 years, developer survey so that we can hear exactly what you want to say to us. We learned oodles from the previous one, and we cannot wait to hear from you. 2 years is a very long time in this industry. So if you want to learn more, come to community.umbraco.com. There are buckets of information there. You can spend all afternoon looking through. Whatever you're into, I suspect it will be represented there. We'd love to hear from you. And that's me.
Thank you so much, Emma. And you're right, we are teasing something at the end here about Code Garden, but more on that after you, Filip, who will now give us some insight on the product roadmap of 2024.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steffi. It's always a pleasure to be talking to everybody in the community. I really enjoy being part of this. In 2023, we kind of coined the phrase, build like you want to build, as guiding principles when we make product decisions. With that we mean with all of Umbraco, with any part of our product portfolio, it should be easy to get started. You should be able to customize and do all of your stuff quickly, and we should just get out of your way and let you do it the way you want to do it. And that's kind of the guiding principle that you've been seeing in the last year and that you'll continue to see in the following years, because we truly believe this is central to who we are and the DNA of our company and our product. In 2023, we launched Umbraco 13, which is a new long-term supported version of Umbraco. There's some cool features in it itself, but anytime we launch a long-term supported version, I get the same question, so I thought I would just answer it straight up. And of course the question is, what version of Umbraco should I be using? And the answer I usually give is that of course it depends, but most of the time, if you're building a project that has continuous development even after go live, I would always go for the newest version of Umbraco. You get all the new features, you get all the new performance improvements and benefits that comes from newer versions. Also, the newer versions of .NET. And on all of the goodies with that. But if you're building a project that that's maybe a one-off build, or a project that goes stale after launch, probably choose the long-term supported version so you can stay on a stack that supported both Umbraco and the .NET version for a long time. 2023 was definitely the year of headless. I mean, headless has been around for many years now, but in Umbraco it was really the moment where headless became a first-class citizen everywhere. You've always been able to build headless on top of Umbraco, or at least for decades, but it's in 2023, we built this new delivery API, content delivery API on top of the native core. This means that any data you have in your Umbraco install is available headlessly when you want to. This is super, super important, and with the fact that it's a part of our offering and not just something you build yourself, this also means that it opens up all the magic from the marketplace and from the entire ecosystem of other people's code. So this is really powerful. And not only is headless now in Umbraco CMS, but it's across all of our products. It's everywhere, whether you're using Umbraco Commerce or Umbraco Forms or even Umbraco Cloud. There's APIs for everything that you want to do. And talking about building how you want to build, in 2023 we also launched the CI/CD flow integration in Umbraco Cloud. This was probably one of the features that was most asked for a long time, because you want to build like you want to. Like, you don't want us to enforce how you should be building. You should be able to decide how you want to do stuff. And this is exactly what this feature allows. With this feature enabled, you decide where the Git repository of your cloud is, and you can run your own builds. You can run your own pull request approval process, or however you want. Run your own QA test. All of that is possible, and then at the end of your pipeline, you just put it over into cloud, and we still take care of everything that you know and love from Umbraco Cloud. And of course, 2023 was the year where we acquired and introduced what is now known as Umbraco Commerce. I mean, you could say that this is selling how you want to sell, but the point is really that this is commerce for Umbraco the way you expect it from Umbraco. So this is a super solid core that gives you all the tools that you need on a basic level, and then it's built for extensibility, it's built for customizations, so you can build pretty much anything you'd like with this. This is a super great product, and we're really happy to see people adopting it and some of the cases being built with this. And that brings us to 2024 and the year that lies ahead. So let me just spend a few minutes talking about that before we hand it over to questions. 2024 will be the year where the next generation of the Umbraco back office is available. If you've been following along, you know that this has been a project for quite some time, and rightfully so. It's a massive project, and we're really excited to be very close to be able to go live with this. The Umbraco back office has always been a super important thing for all of our editors, all of our developers out there, because this is the magic of Umbraco, where editors intuitively work with content without needing training, without needing any of that. It's intuitive, it's easy to work with. And for developers, it's easy to customize, it's easy to make it do whatever you want it to do. And with the new back office, there's going to be even better APIs for all of this, APIs that will be super stable, super well-defined, and all built on modern web technologies with TypeScript as well. So even though you don't have to use TypeScript, if you do, or if your editor supports it, you'll get really great help directly from your IDE. So there's a lot of great new features in the new back office, and I can't wait to see people actually starting to build with this. Along with the new back office, there's a brand new management API that lets you manage all the content that lives in your Umbraco install that you would normally do from the back office. You can do that programmatically as well from an API. So this means if you're building a tool that needs to work with content in Umbraco, it becomes much easier. You don't have to do all sorts of work around to make that work, but there's just a management API that lets you do all of this. This, of course, is also backed by standards and by OpenAPI, which used to be Swagger. So there's definitions and playgrounds and all of that for all of the API endpoints. Super, super important. And it's going to really be a new way to work with Umbraco. For editors, we'll be working on expanding the way you work with content, the way you work with content blocks. In Umbraco, a block is a piece of content that you can that you define. And what we want to bring is we want to make it a lot easier for you to use parts of it to use parts of content and reuse it across pages. Today there's a little bit of workarounds to make that possible, but with this new feature, this will be a first-class citizen as well. And as well as that, we want to make it so that you can vary in the block grid, on the block list, on the block level when you have like multiple languages, versions of the same page. Super cool new features coming to Umbraco very soon. A few words around cloud before we hand it over to questions. The next big feature that we're working on in cloud is around cloud environments. We want to give you the flexibility that you want, the flexibility that you'd like, that fits into your workflow, and let you handle your cloud environments however you want to. Today we have a pretty linear approach to our environments, but sometimes you might want to have a feature branch or a QA branch somewhere, and we want to allow you to do that with flexibility both horizontally and vertically on your cloud environments. And with that, the last point for cloud is the ability to scale out in cloud. So we've been talking about this for a while because we know that this is important for lots of you out there. This is something that you spend a lot of time setting up anytime you need this, and we want to make it a one-click thing inside of the cloud portal. So later this year, you'll be able to spin out multiple instances of your Umbraco install for performance when that big dedicated resource is not enough, or if you just want redundancy or even geographical redundancy. Super cool stuff coming to cloud later this year, and I can't wait to share all of this with you. And all of this, we want to wrap it, as Kim said, in a package of a sustainable approach. We've been talking about sustainability in cloud for a while, and it turns out that it's really hard to get this right. There's no standard for how you measure carbon emission in cloud data centers or anything like this, and we want to make sure that the data we provide you is correct. But we've been collecting data for cloud for the last couple of months, and we're trying to figure out the correct algorithm to show you trustworthy data in your cloud. So coming later this year, you'll have a dashboard in the cloud portal where on an environment level, you'll be able to see exactly how much carbon emission you're responsible for, and see how you're doing, see how your improvements can actually take that number way down when you use the benefits of Umbraco. And with that, I think I'll turn it back to Steffi.
Wow, Filip, you've never been in such good time. You always need extra time. Thank you. I think it's been a truly fantastic 2023, and I'm so much looking forward to 2024. We've been getting some questions in, so while you're wrapping up your thoughts and sending us some more, I'll ask you, Filip, the first question, and that's from Richard, asking if we will see a beta version of the version 14 today.
Today? No, we will not see a beta version today.
You have an extra 5 minutes.
Yeah. Let me just wrap up. We are planning on releasing a new preview version of the new back office very soon. And then once we are feature complete, we will be releasing a beta version. We don't have a date yet, but we expect it to be in the first quarter of the year. And as I didn't mention explicitly here, but of course the release date of Umbraco 14 is May 30th, so there's still months to go, both from now but also after the beta version. So if you're a developer, you might want to start dipping your toes now in the preview versions, but if you're actually building on a project or something like that, at least wait for the beta version to get out there.
And that's gets me to another question. How much work is it actually to upgrade to the new back office when it's time for that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It depends on the amount of customizations that you're doing. If you're not doing any customizations to the back office, the upgrade should be pretty trivial. Because if you're just depending on packages from the marketplace or not doing any customizations at all, then all of that will be taken care of by the migration right out of Umbraco. So that should be pretty straightforward. I mean, there's of course an asterisk. It is a major version. We are changing some dependencies here and there, and there might be some stuff. But in terms of like big development tasks, that comes down to the amount of customizations that you have in the back office.
Okay, great. Michael, he asked when you were talking about which version to run your website on, he's asking why is our Umbraco website running on version 7.15.7? And he's asking because they have similar 7.x systems that they are considering upgrading. I don't know if that's maybe a question for you.
Yeah, I mean,
Emma.
I'd love to talk a little bit about Our, because it's a website that I lived in when I was building Umbraco sites, and it is still in V7, and it's not much fun to work with this side of the table either. But it is something that we're looking at, and one of the things we want to do before we think about upgrading it is get it right. It's a really well-loved resource for the community, so we want to make sure that we move in the right direction and we take all the right pieces with us. A leap from 7 to 14 is going to be interesting, I think we could say, and we know that once we do start the project, we will be doing it in the open, doing it with lots of people, making sure that the community are involved. But a really exciting thing that Javier is going to tell us is that we're moving in the right direction already.
Yeah, as you might imagine, our main Umbraco.com is still lacking in the most updated version. And sometimes the chefs, they eat the last on the kitchens. So we have been prioritizing resources to basically develop more products, but we make the commitment that this year, of course, Umbraco.com will basically run on the latest version of Umbraco, basically because we are facing the same problems that people is facing when he's running old versions. So yes, this year is our year for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for thank you for that. And I think we have Kim joining us for the Q&A as well. Kim, how do you experience sustainability being so important for us?
We hear it from the customers, and that type of customers who are reaching out to us on this issue is typically governmental organizations, whether it's local, regional, or national, or international organizations. And then the larger enterprise customers, who all are organizations that have made the stance that they want to do something around sustainability. If nothing else, then being able to document their carbon footprint. So we need it when we speak with partners, being approached by end clients, and we need it in request for proposals, RFPs, that this is something we need to be able to answer on. So especially the larger organizations and the governmental organizations are front runners in this area.
Thank you for clarifying that. Let's see what I have here. Javier, are we planning to extend version 7 end of life as a service for partners and clients in 2024?
Ouch.
Ouch!
Yeah, good question. Let's clarify, we want everybody upgrading to the latest version. We believe that the real value of Umbraco is always on the later version, not in a really old one. The reason because we decide to extend the support is we get the message from many of you about we are not ready. We need more time. So we decided last year to implement this product. We are right now considering what is going to be the future of this product, but for sure this product should die some point, hopefully soon, because we want to help people to do the migration. But it's our job to listen. Many of you with really good reasons tell us we are not ready. That's fine, but at some point we all, including ourselves, we need to be ready for that. So long story short, right now we are deciding for how long.
Makes sense. Emma, I really enjoyed the video as well, and so it highlights a lot of 2023 community engagement. Could you share an example of how this community-driven approach directly impacts Umbraco's development?
Yeah, So in terms of how it directly impacts our development, I could take it back to our core product actually and say that I was really excited to learn that of just over 1,200 pull requests that we merged last year, almost 400 were community pull requests. So it really is at the core of what we do. It's in our code base and it's in our DNA. So it impacts us in that sense, but for those people who aren't necessarily developers, they also have a huge impact, because one of the things that we tend to do is we work with community teams and we work with the MVPs, the most valuable people, and they give us feedback all the time. We solicit their feedback, they give us unsolicited feedback. So quite often we know the direction we're taking is the right direction because we're not doing it blindly. We're doing it in collaboration with the people that use the product, that work with the product, that build with the product. So the impact is huge. It's absolutely vast.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm also happy to head the Code Garden event, which is basically our flagship event for the Umbraco community. So where I get in touch with developers. That's my only chance to do it. Let's see. We have 4 key markets, Javier.
Yep.
Are you seeing any other relevant markets?
Well, as I mentioned before, our key word of the year is focus and win where we play. Is also true that we are seeing some movement and some response that organically came to us in some markets that we are not doing extra efforts. Middle East, some areas in Europe that suddenly start to get more traction. So the only commitment that we made to ourselves this year is keep exploring without changing the focus direction that we have, that is win in our 4 markets. So of course, we keep exploring what is possible to do, and if possible also to upgrade some of our services there. We're still on the decision mode, we don't know, but it's more like the exploring phase than nothing else. But we keep to the original idea, win where we play. We have 4 key markets, and those are the areas that we're gonna put the most of our efforts right now.
Yeah. Maybe a follow-up question for you, Kim, is where is Umbraco in 3 years' time? Are we still growing?
Yes, we are still growing. The ambition is to do a continuous growth of at least 25% year over year. We have customers in close to 100 countries, 4 key markets, as Javier is mentioning. There are some runners-up that we are looking at and exploring. We have data centers 4 places in the world, and wherever it makes sense, business-wise, customer-wise, we are open to look at this. So we will continue the growth journey. We will continue to supply customers with products and services that create values. And we want to have a solid footprint in the markets where we are present. So yes, continued growth.
Emma, over to you. What would you say to folks who would like to be more involved, but they're maybe afraid of how much time and how to balance their time spent on the needs of the organization against the time spent on the community activities?
Yep, that comes up often, actually, and it's something that I wrangled with at various roles. I was never happier than when I was in a role that really prioritized community activity. And gave us some time to work on community projects. When I was a junior developer, it was a huge part of my development, of my learning and my training, and it was free. You know, it cost me time. Yeah. I could never get my head around, coming from a different career and into tech, that there were so many ways to learn without actually having to pay hand over fist for courses and so on. And that has a time and a place, like absolutely do that. But there is nothing more wonderful than being told by your employer, take this afternoon to work on a pull request for the core repository or to collaborate with somebody else. because you work with the people you work with. But as a community, we're as wide and as broad as the brains that we have inside it. So it's incredible for staff development. I can tell you it's amazing for staff retention. And if there are any partners on the call who have had this experience, I'm sure they'll share their thoughts, because they often do. Happy developers, happy staff, they stay.
So send them to Code Garden is basically what you're saying.
Meetups. So, and again, for me, it always comes back to meetups, because that was my first kind of way in, sort of shuffled in through a door, met people that worked all over London, same technology, brilliantly smart, more experienced than me. It's absolutely a no-brainer. Community activity builds better colleagues and better collaborators.
So first step, go to a meetup close by.
Go to a meetup and tell your boss
Yes.
that you're going to a meetup. Also, employers love people who will show that kind of passion. It does not hurt to, you know, fly your nerd flag and say, I do this in my free time too.
Yes.
I mean, there's online meetups as well, as you said in your presentation. Like, even if you don't live in one of the hotspots where there's physical meetups, there's lots of opportunities. And maybe like if you're just dipping your toes, maybe that's a place to get started, where there's, you know, you can just log off if things is weird, or like if there's something you don't understand, or like it's very you know, easy to get started in a virtual meetup.
I think that's a good point, because you will be welcomed. You will be welcomed in, but you can just be, like, you are welcome to just come and stay. We always like to tell people that when they come to hackathons, it's okay not to write code. Just drink tea. You know, just meet other people.
Even a non-techie like me.
Especially a non-techie. Everybody's technical, Steffi.
When you believe it.
Yeah, it's a spectrum.
Speaking of virtual, and you can do it from anywhere, we have a fun question from Mark Goodson. Is there a prize from a hello from the furthest away location? You just send me an email and I will come up with something. If you can make it to Code Garden, you'll get a special unicorn balloon from me.
Well, I think we have to greet the people in Australia. I think it's almost 2:00 a.m. there. So.
That deserves a prize. Filip, what is next for Umbraco Commerce?
Yeah. So the big new thing is that along with the management API for CMS, in Umbraco Commerce 14, we're launching a management API for Umbraco Commerce as well. So you can change all of your settings, do all of the stuff, again, programmatically. So if you need to do stuff or need to change stuff while stuff is running, there'll be an API for that as well. I think that's probably the biggest feature coming. Other than that, I know the team is working on shipping providers as we speak, making it a lot easier to build and distribute into the marketplace, you know, different kinds of shipping providers with real-time lookups or just dynamic prices based on weight or cargo space or whatever. So new hooks and APIs for shipping, and then the management APIs.
Great. Navigating the questions here. We are running our site on version 8.18.12. Which LTS would you recommend to upgrade to, considering we want to do it wisely and cost efficiently?
So the LTSs overlap a little bit, but if you're choosing between LTSs, I would always go for the latest LTS. So that's Umbraco 13 now. The difference between the previous LTS and 13 is pretty minimal, and the upgrade path between the two should be relatively straightforward. So even if you started working towards the old one, just target the new one. It shouldn't be a lot of extra work, and it will give you a few extra years in the other end if you need it.
Great. Emma, I have one more for you here. What do you do and what will you do to ensure that the friendly community feel isn't affected by our projected growth of the company and our community?
Oh, close to my heart, this
yes.
one. So we're a friendly community, but we are much bigger than we used to be. We're a friendly company, but we're much bigger than we used to be. But it is a scalable thing, it turns out. I think that one of the things that we do, or that we try really hard to do at Umbraco, is center people, people's stories, people's experiences. We want to fling the doors open, we want to invite people in, but we also want them to feel close. So where we used to be very good, very casual, kind of come and speak to us, here we are. We now have a lot more channels where people can get in touch with us, a lot more ways for people to meet us. And that could be MVP Connect, where we gather our huge number of most valuable people in one place, or it could be our office hours, which will be at the Umbraco virtual local meetup, which is coming. But we're always open and we're always listening. And I think that that's key. People often think they're not a part of the community because perhaps they're not writing code or they're not with us all the time or they're not an MVP. But we know you and we see you and we just want to make sure that you know that too. So friendly processes to make sure we reach all the corners, a really good code of conduct for our events, whether they're online or elsewhere, focus on diversity, equity, inclusion, because we can't grow and just hope that things will scale the way we want them to. Conscious effort to keep things friendly.
Can I add something?
Yes, Kim.
It's absolutely crucial for the company that we continue to have a strong, live and vibrant community. An important thing in the growing phase we are in and have been the last 8 years-ish is that in order to stay the same, we need to change. We are doing things differently than we did 2 years ago, than we did 4 years ago, and 6 years ago, and so on and so forth. Ensuring that everyone who wants to join can join, ensuring that processes are not only friendly, but also transparent and open for people joining. So we will continue transforming, transitioning, working different ways in order to stay the same.
Did you still want to say something? No. I have some questions about training. Could you maybe help me with that?
Maybe,
so I have a question from Andy. Will there be training courses for all your HQ package offerings? Would be great to have commerce or workflow courses. Is that in the pipeline?
We are right now considering what are we going to build on demand this year. Also, we need to understand that some of these products that they are changing very frequently and we are like upgrading a lot. Doing an on-demand training is a little bit challenging, but as part of the promise to make everybody from anywhere and anytime being an Umbraco certified expert this year, we're definitely moving for that. This is the goal. At some point, everybody, if you want commerce or workflow or whatever, be able to get across and getting certified. But we are basically starting from the big shots and we're gonna start to move to the rest one during this year. So more to come.
Maybe a follow-up question is that what does that leave us? Where does that leave us on in-person training?
We're gonna continue doing in-person training. We believe that has a huge value to being all together, and obviously the deep learning on the in-person is great. We're gonna continue doing that. It's not that we are not keep developing this part, but we are ambitious and we believe that we can develop both parts during this year.
Great, I think that's. We covered that. Let's see, Filip. Let's see, can I have a non-production environment on dedicated so I can do load testing without affecting production? Here you go.
That's a good one. Yes, with the new flexibility in environments that I was talking about, this is exactly what we want you to be able to do. You should be able to control exactly what environment should be on what dedicated resource and when, and move them around however you want. So yes, you should be able to do that.
Great. And that was, I'll end with the last question. Will this be available on YouTube or Vimeo or wherever after this? Yes, this recording will be on YouTube, on our Umbraco YouTube tomorrow. And already today, for those of you that signed up, you can watch it in the Umbraco Events app. That leaves us to the end of our Q&A. I want to thank all of you. You've been seeing me go through and scrolling and communicating with my colleague Michaela, sorting through all your through all your questions. So thank you for your enthusiasm and all your questions. And I'll sort them after this event and see how we can still get answers to you after this. We promised a surprise around Code Garden. So if you at 5 So in 2 minutes, you'll see that our ticket sales has gone online for Code Garden this year. So if you go to codegarden.umbraco.com, you'll see that we have a limited offer of super early birds. There's 50 tickets, first come, first serve. So go and grab one, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you at Code Garden. We have launched also our first 16 speakers. And we would still love to see you submit as well. We have our submissions open until the 2nd of February. So go to our website and submit, because we would love to see you on stage as well. Thank you all for joining us today. And here's to a fantastic 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you.